Hello. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the blogs, betas, digital artifacts, and research reports for BCM215 Game Media Industries. Many of you will also be doing BCM241, and so the assessment structure is very similar in that subject, but the assessment criteria are very different. So I'll address the specific criteria for these tasks in this subject in this video. All right, let's start with the blogs then. And in week 7 for blog post 4, you were specifically looking at Joost Reysen's multiple analytical frameworks for considering the techniques of participation and the types of participation involved in video games. So this was a real practice run for you in applying a specific analytical framework to your particular game media text or paratext. So this was a really important way of communicating to your audience that you understand how to apply an analytical framework to a game media text or paratext. Remember that for your DA, it doesn't have to be a game itself. It can be an advertising campaign. It can be a t-shirt. It can be a podcast. It can be branding, for example. So whatever particular field that you're coming to in addressing game media, you can bring your expertise and your knowledge from those interests to the subject. Remember to be flexible and make sure to give lots of examples. So being flexible in your thinking is what I'm explaining there. In week 8, this is where you are really digging into your DA and you are going into depth on your analytical framework. What are the 3 concepts that you're drawing on that inform your analysis? Now, this should be fully researched and fully linked. However, remember, a blog doesn't have to be essay style, right? This can be dot points. The thing about blogs that I'm looking for is effective communication. So if you're detailing a feminist critique, for example, you could just have key dot points about what that critique involves linked to key sources that you're using. If you're using a psychoanalytic framework, again, dot points about the key points that you're going to be using to analyze your text and the resources that you're drawing on. Make sure that you're aware of if these concepts have been previously employed in the analysis of media outside of games. So if you're looking at a concept of, say, the representation of women in games, you could draw on the representation of women in advertising, in movies, in different cultures. And you can use that research to help inform your analysis. When you're doing further research online on Google Scholar and the library catalog, you don't have to restrict yourself to games, right? You're trying to build up your knowledge about these concepts and bring that to the text that you're looking at. So this post particularly will be very important when it comes back to your research report. So the beta is a 3-minute video, but it should be informal, right? This should be a progress report. You're checking in with us. You're telling us about your operational prototype for your DA. If you're doing a video essay or a sound essay, for example, show us your script that you've developed so far. Show us examples of where you've participated in a Reddit forum or a Facebook discussion. The beta should also be a chance to discuss your peer commentary feedback and your feedback from your pitch and from your first round of blogs from your tutor. Discuss that feedback and talk about how you're responding to it. You should give a clear account of your analytical framework. So you are describing what you've been already done in that blog post number 5. So you've already done that work there, and you're just telling us about where you're up to. Remember, the beta is a vlog style, right? So you don't need to edit. It's just straight to camera. You can just talk over some slides like this. You can draw on your blog posts. and talk about how your research and your analysis is helping you create innovative content for your DA, right? So, for example, if you're doing a Twitch stream, how is your research helping you improve and create innovative and interesting content for your Twitch stream? The last thing you should do, and this can be in the text itself, is update your schedule. So you could the Moodle Dropbox for this subject will be open from week 10, so you can complete your DA and submit it whenever you like, or you can take that extra time and work on through to week 13. So we just want to see in the text at least an image or a table of what you're planning to do with your remaining time. So what you're doing there is communicating that you're organized, that you're thinking about your DA, you're working on it every week, and you're being active in the subject and not leaving things to the last minute. Okay, so then in the blog post number 6, which is due in week 11, which will be your peer commentary. Lots of good peer commentary. Folks were very engaged, which was really interesting. Even I saw a range of of comments where students were admitting that they're not familiar with games, and so they were responding to these topics and these ideas and these texts for the first time in new ways, and that's really valuable. Often knowledge of games can actually be a drawback because coming at something new and difficult and strange for the first time can really give you a level of insight that is not possible when you're a fan of something. So this time, when it comes to the peer review schedule, you'll add your name to the betas that you are going to comment on. So in this round of comments, you can choose up to 3 beta reports to comment on. If you want to focus just on one and put all your energy into that, that's totally fine. Or if you would like to spread out your feedback over 3 beta reports, that's up to you. Please make sure you look at the criteria for assessment for the beta, for guiding the construction of your comments. That's really important. We want you to look deeply at the assessment criteria of a task in order to be familiar with how that task is being assessed. That will give you the structure and the focus for your feedback. And we want to see really effective feedback being provided for this one, particularly because we're leading up to the end. And so you're focusing on that, right? You're focusing on helping your peer complete their work. So you're not necessarily finding new material, but maybe helping them refine their focus or increase the depth of their analysis. And so focusing on the criteria is crucial to do that. In the text post, we want to see evidence of what you learned from the process. So don't tell us what you did in the comment, because we'll be able to see that. But tell us what you learned from the process and how engaging with the criteria helped you think about how to look at assessment criteria, particularly for the digital artifact and the research report, and how that helps focus your energy and focus your analysis and focus your attention. Tell us what you learned and tell us about how you think that might have helped you increase the sophistication of your peer feedback. Okay, so the important thing to remember is the DA focus. So the focus for this subject for your digital artifact is a critical analysis of a game media text or paratext using an analytical framework that is made accessible for a public audience. That last part is very key, right? Not only are you trying to do something sophisticated like develop an analysis of a text, you're trying to make that accessible for a public audience. So this might mean that in the DA itself, you're not, sharing references and things like that. You're building on ideas. And then in the research report, that's where you're linking to your references. How you make your analysis accessible to a public audience is up to you. And you can reflect on that in your research report. So the research report is just a final blog post where you are going to summarize and link to all your DA activity. And then it's just a research report of up to 500 words. Now, remember, a report is not an essay. You want to clearly state your aims. You want to clearly link to everything that you've done. You want to clearly show that you are doing what is expected of you in the assessment criteria. So make sure you download that assessment criteria for the research report and read through that and structure your report based on that assessment criteria. That is the way to do this. So dot points, summarize, and keep it concise of up to 500 words. This shouldn't be a massive essay, right? This should just be a summary of everything you've already done. You're just showing off the work that you've already done in your blogs, in your beta, in your DA, and your activity in the subject. So very much looking forward to seeing that. Just again, reminder, you're not penalized for reusing content, right? Or linking to previous content in order to be effective in your communication about what you've done. You are encouraged to build on your work at each stage and show the development of your analysis and how your research is building your DA content in innovative and interesting ways. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. I'm really looking forward to seeing the remainder of your output for this subject in this session. If you have any questions, please ask me on Discord. I will set up a time to talk to you and workshop any ideas or trouble that you're having. Remember that you can change direction in your DA. Maybe you've dropped the direction that you were taking and you've taken up a new direction, and so maybe that final DA is less developed than you might otherwise want. Remember, you put that journey in your research report, and that's it. That's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.